I don't know. I'm going to go with it. Hey, what's up? It's me, Animal. Only on Animal Expedition Files. See you there. Hey everybody, welcome to the Animal Expedition Files. I am your host, The Animal. What is up, everybody? It is a Saturday night, and it's a beautiful day out here in New England. So buckle up. It's going to be a dicey one. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of paranormal with Luna. She's in the background, chilling, rocking out, hanging out. Can't wait to talk about a whole bunch of things. First, we're going to be asking her questions about her life in the paranormal and where she came from. And we're also going to be talking about a couple of douchebags that have been out there causing trouble in the paranormal. So just buckle up. It's been kind of peeving me off a little bit lately here in the paranormal community, which they've been treating a lot of people. So please subscribe and like the channel if you like watching us every Wednesday and Saturday. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Go check out our merch at www.animalexpeditionfiles.com. I know I've been having trouble with the website, but hopefully it's back up here soon. But come check us out. We got Luna coming up here in a second, but I just want to see how everybody's doing in the comments here. Hey, Paranormal Empire. Hey, hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, Jessica. Hey, Floria. Sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong, but hey everybody in the comments. But we're gonna bring Luna in right now. We're gonna have some fun, and
oh hey, balloons! Let's party.
How did that?
I'm a magician.
That's awesome.
That was funny.
So how you doing? How's your wonderful, amazing day?
It's going good. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Oh, it is Wednesday. I said Saturday.
Yeah, it's okay. I kind of wish it was
I
Saturday.
know. I'm like wishing. Hey, Sarah, what's up?
Hi,
how's
everybody.
It going? Man, there's already people starting to float in the comments, but while we're having people starting to come in the chat room, while you're listening to the show, everybody, please, we love questions, and we can't do it without you guys. And I know we're going to be talking about some cool stuff and about Luna and where she came from, how, like, where did her journey start? And we're going to be talking about some dicey stuff here in a sec. That's been causing a little raffle on Facebook. So just a smidge. But yeah, we talked a little bit before we went on live on there, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. So just stay tuned. But Luna, tell us a little bit about your story. Like, how did everything come to what you love to do? Because I see your website and like the things that you do is just really amazing. And I'm really, like I said, I've been going through a whole spiritual thing like in my life, and like I told you about Salem and what happened, I've came to that peace, and like just it's just like a beautiful, just the spirituality of what you're studying is just so amazing. And why don't you go through a little bit about that? How did you find that journey?
It is such a long story, but I will shorten it as much as possible. So
Yeah.
my first bit of death happened when I was 11. I lost my father due to cancer, and watching somebody just, wither away in front of you at such a young age is is a huge slap in the face. And I was raised Catholic, a Mexican Catholic family. And so, we would go to Sunday school. I would go to Sunday school after Sunday church. It was very big in our house. So I studied, the Bible, religion, God, all that stuff, I know a lot about it. And so, what I knew of death was just what I had read in the Bible and what I
Mm.
learned from the big cult that we call Catholic Church. But anyway, I digress. And so, when my father passed, I had a hard time going to his funeral. I remember before he passed, I was sitting in the passenger seat. My mom was driving, and I had this image, this flash in my head, my third eye of my dad's funeral. I saw him in the casket and everything, and I got like really freaked out. So when my dad passed, I kind of thought it was my fault because I thought I had caused it to happen. Because when you're a kid, you try to, make sense of things. And for me, it just didn't make sense. I thought I was the issue. And I never told my family this or anything. But when I had walked into where his funeral was, I had saw the same exact thing I had saw in the image in my mind. And I could not be at his funeral, well, at least the service for that, because I thought it was my fault. So it really did weigh heavy on me. So I really got scared of death. I really just didn't want anything to do with it. I thought I was kind of the bringer of death in some ways. And then as I got more into my teenage years, I started getting more into the paranormal, watching paranormal shows and things like that. And I slowly started becoming more obsessed with where my dad went, and the Bible just didn't make sense. It wasn't good
Yeah.
enough for me. The answers just weren't good enough. So it started becoming an obsession. Um, when I first got out of high school, funny enough, I wanted to go to Penn State and study the paranormal program that they had in 2007, but it did get shut down shortly after. So I find that funny that, I was gonna go to Penn State and everything and do that. And then I thought about being a mortician and all of those things. I really just became so obsessed with saying, you know what? I just want to help people cross over. I want to be the person that maybe takes care of the bodies and just be in that aspect. And I didn't end up doing it because there were some aspects of the job that were just ugh. I couldn't do it. Just like, ugh. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. But I ended up really pulling more into my spiritual side when my friend Katie, shout out to my friend Katie, she asked me if I wanted to go to a spiritualist camp in Florida, Casadega,
Huh.
Florida. I don't know if you guys know what
Okay.
a
I've
spiritualist
been
camp.
there.
Okay. So a spiritualist camp is basically where there are people that live in this community that have abilities. And it is a massive camp basically, but it's more like a neighborhood with houses. And she was like, let's go stay at the haunted hotel there. I'm going to sign us up for all
Yeah.
these classes. And so I went to a tarot reading for the first time. And this was like when I was like 25. So just so you guys know, this was like in my mid 20s. So I didn't really start my spiritual journey until I was more of an adult. And we went to tarot readings and I found it so fascinating. And I just felt at home. I felt a comfort, like you were talking about with Salem, Massachusetts. I just felt like I found my people because I was just so weird. At the
Mm.
time, I had a guy that I was with who was very Christian and hated everything that I believed in. So, I didn't
Wow.
really have that support system around me. So to have those people around me for that moment made me realize there are other people out there.
Yeah.
He signed me up for a psychic mediumship class. I didn't know what the heck that was.
Wow.
So we were tested on our abilities. And when I went into, hi, Kat, when we went into the mediumship part of it, we were teamed up with people we didn't know. And I had hit almost every single bit of thing that was like coming to me. And people were crying coming out of the class. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry. And, it was like good tears. But the instructor came up to me and she said, do you know that you're a medium? And I said, I don't even know what that means, and she explained it to me. And it's like my whole life just kind of made sense after that
Mhm.
because my dad, passed away, the psychic abilities, and just like all these weird things that have happened to me my whole life. I've always lived in haunted houses. Why are all of my houses I live in haunted? I don't get it.
Yep.
I ended
Same
up
here.
being taken. So things started to make sense. And so my friend, we were driving home and she says, well, what are you going to do with these abilities? You have to help people because you're obviously really good at it. And I said, I don't
Mhm.
know. Going to care what I have to say. And she goes, well, you won't know until you try.
Mhm.
So from then on, I started TikTok. when it first came out, and I started my paranormal journey and started going to different haunted locations. And then I became kind of the quote unquote one of the mediums in the community. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. I was like, I really want to help people more. So I started doing mediumship readings, picking up tarot. I created my own tarot deck to teach people how to learn how to read tarot. It just all really spiraled from there. And then it became this love and passion, which is now my career that I am obsessed with. And it wasn't just being obsessed that everything's a ghost. I wanted to make sure that people understood there was a difference between magic and reality, and
Mm.
that there is balance between the both of them. So that's kind of where my debunking kind of started, and being a little bit more level-headed and calling things out and the BS out. So I really wanted to go into this making sure I wasn't like everyone else, entertainer or content creator. I wanted to be somebody that was real and that could get answers for someone, realistic ones.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we get a lot of people who it between paranormal people and I call it the act, and I just saw someone post early on Facebook about what's the difference between paranormal and acting, in the paranormal. If I think you probably saw that post. I don't know if you saw that post?
Mhm, I did.
But
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting because like there's so much stuff out there where I'll see people post a picture of like, look at this, and it's like that doesn't even look like a ghost. And they're like, oh yeah, it's real. We took pictures of it and stuff like that. And it just amazes me. It makes us look bad in a way, you know what I mean?
It does. It's a mockery, and there is for me, I don't hate on anyone who is
Yeah.
a content creator or entertainer in this field. They are obviously people who have families and need to feed them, and they took off in the field, and that doesn't bother me. Those are their personas, those are the actors that they are. I just wish that there was a separation where it's not so hard to put in your videos or in your bios for entertainment purposes only. Because then we start straying from what is reality and what is fiction. And
Hmm.
people who are not educated or not in the field, there are no experts in the field. I will always say this, there is no answer for the paranormal. It is the unknown, right? I guess the experts are the dead at this point. But
Yeah.
I think if you're not even immersed in this field or try to understand just the basics and what to look out for, people are going to get sucked into that entertainment, the Zach
Mm.
bag of entertainment. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just we don't have a line. It's all blurred, and
Yeah.
it's scary. It's scary.
Now, do you ever get like people sending you pictures of like paranormal stuff?
Yeah.
And once you see it, do you feel like a spirit is talking to you and be like, no, that's not real or it's real?
No, absolutely not. That so there's how do I explain this? So when you're a medium or a psychic, everyone has the ability to be psychic. We all have that
Mhm.
that feeling in the pit of our stomach when something's wrong, or you need to check on your kids. Like you always have that psychic ability, that energy. But when it comes to talking to the dead, when I see a picture online or something, nothing is whispering in my ear like that's haunted, or whatever it is. So when people send me pictures, I'm always pretty honest with them and say, unfortunately, that's not how that works. And
Mhm.
it's not something I'm going to be able to read for you. But I always encourage them really dig into what your stomach is saying and do the research, maybe take a picture of it, do like throw it into Google search and see if something comes up for it, its history. I always really tell people more dig into the history of it. Where did it come from? What is its actual story? And just, go with your own best equipment that you have, which is yourself, not trusting TikTok psychics.
Now, what has been your most incredible experience like in your day to day like life of walk of like a paranormal experience? Do you ever like go for a walk sometimes and something just speaks to you or just hits you and just speaks to you in a certain way?
Yeah, honestly, whenever I see ravens, if I'm like ever walking, I very rarely ever see ravens. I'll see crows, But, sometimes one will be on my car, sometimes one will be on my mailbox randomly or whatever, and I'll just be like, "Hi, Odin," and I know it's like
That's
just, I almost feel like there's a connection with animals. For some reason, it's always the ravens that I just have that like, "Ooh, this is different," because I don't see them, and why are they on my stuff? Does that make
yeah,
sense? They could be anywhere, or I don't know, in the gym or somewhere. It's just they're always there. Those are the most interesting. I don't necessarily know paranormal per se, but I feel like there is a connection with the universe. I really do believe in the universe and the energy and things like that. And I think animals hold a lot of messages.
yeah.
Um, so every single time I see a raven, it's always something. And it always just gives me that like, ooh, that voodoo feeling. Like, why are they here? What are they trying to tell me?
What has been your most incredible experience in the paranormal with when you investigate?
The most incredible experience, like good or bad?
Good or both?
Mm, okay, so the most incredible experience, and I know this is gonna sound corny, is the people that I've met, the
Mm,
community that I have built, the fact that I can have family in almost every state, and if someone's like, "Do you know someone?" I was like, "I do," and I can just
yeah.
reach out to that paranormal family member. I think that that is the most wonderful experience in the paranormal, which I know this is probably not the answers you're expecting,
No,
and
no, it's good.
the worst experiences are the human beings.
Hmm.
It's the most scary, worst experiences have been the human beings, hands down in the paranormal. So, good humans and bad humans.
Which we are going to be going to right now. Speaking about, we're going to be going into that. The whole Casty and Matt Riff jam that's going on lately. They've been starting a whole big jam out there with a lot of people, especially the recent post that was really negative that came out today, and a lot of people have been sharing about it. I want to know your opinion about this whole thing that's going on with Matt Riff and Cassie, because especially them bringing Annabelle to Salem, which I think is a bad idea, because I think it's not good to bring something, especially if they're calling it negative the way they are.
Yeah.
And if something's that bad or evil and they're bringing it in there to something that's spiritual, and now they're calling Annabelle something about, I heard something in the grapevine, something about it being witchcraft or something like that. Elton was saying something about that. I can't remember the whole convo in that.
Yeah, I'm not everything that I'm gonna say is just like hearsay unless there actually is something that's like proof and tangible, like, screenshots and things.
Hmm.
I think when it comes to those 2, they need to start doing some deep diving on the history of the Warrens and Salem, Massachusetts. There was a screenshot, it is floating around, of Elton kind of saying something along the lines of like, "What does even witchcraft have to do with the history of Salem?" Something like that. It wasn't word for word. And
Hmm.
that really shocked me because how do you not understand the history of a place that you are going to be popping up shop at? And specifically, the Warrens were not fond of witches or witchcraft. So
Yeah.
that just blows my mind that that particularly him does not know that his own history of Salem, Massachusetts, and why it is tied to witchcraft and why it is so important to be respected. So for
Hmm.
me, just to hear from the horse's mouth that that's like he doesn't know, that just really makes me sad. This makes me feel more that it is a cash grab. Do I know that? No, I don't. I don't know that for certain, but that's what it feels like to me. When it comes to going the back and forth, what had happened with Matt today and telling somebody to not be here anymore, that's extremely inappropriate. And I know a lot of people are excusing him by saying, "Oh, it's Matt. What do you expect?" I just would expect a decent human being, regardless of your comedy or whatever it is that you do, to not take it to that level ever,
Yeah.
even if you feel attacked or whatever it is. I just think that when it comes to this going back and forth, unfortunately, a lot of opinions are what's being stated instead of facts. And when people start posting opinions like, when they're saying that, Jason hates the Warrens, I don't believe that he's ever said that before.
Hmm.
That is not factual. So when you say things like that and then it makes its way around the internet, it's like one big game of telephone and everyone really fucking sucks at it in the
Mhm.
paranormal, and it just makes it worse. So, when it comes to myself or anybody else, in the debunking community, we do not believe in doxing, bullying, going after people in a sense that would harm them. So if we're not doing that, I feel that people that are of, I don't know, fame or whatever it is they want to call it, I think that they should be leading by example and not saying those things. In no way, shape, or form should that ever have happened, but it did. And I just wish that all of us can just try to find some common ground and some neutral ground, without fighting about every single little thing and
Yeah.
taking it so out of proportion. I will never understand why the Warrens get people so uppity. I will never understand it. It's just not healthy.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into much about the Warrens' history and stuff like that. I know there's theories where people say they lied about things and stuff like that. Annabelle, don't touch Annabelle, you can't move her. They sold Annabelle, and that's just a mock up of the old doll. There's so many theories out there.
Mhm.
It's crazy, and now they're and now they're saying like, oh, we're selling out tickets, and we're making the money, blah blah blah. And it's just really sad how they're using the paranormal people that don't even have any experience in the paranormal. Number one, Matt Riff is Rife, or what, however you say his last name, um has no experience in the paranormal that I know of, and all of a sudden, like, he's a professional, and he got to what they call a cult following, that people that, because I know there's been people attacking you guys and a group of you guys of saying like really mean stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Matt actually has any history in the paranormal. I think he just kind of came up recently.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure like what his passion is behind it because, I don't know his thoughts or feelings behind it. But what I've seen in coming into a community, anyone's home, if you're going to come into anyone's home, usually the first thing I ask is, do you want me to leave my shoes on? No, you can leave them on. It's fine, or like, being polite. And so if you're going to come into a community, and I can't speak on the comedy community because I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like to me that they just kind of kick the door in and do whatever they want. But I think there is a sense of understanding that the paranormal for some of us is about the history and
Mhm.
maintaining the history respectfully. And when you're going to come in and not respect the people in your own community that you're trying to adopt now, that just shows me your intentions in this community and it's not looking so good. That's why I think there's a lot of pushback with him, particularly because of how he is treating the community. And then also the other thing, not knowing your own history of the Warrens or even the history of Salem, that is very troubling for people who say that, they're in the paranormal. The history is massive for us, and
Mhm.
all we have is the history. you
Yeah.
know when it comes down to the Warrens, though, yes, we have paper clippings, yes, we have people coming forward that knew them, but in the end of the day, we don't really know everything, right? We don't
Yeah.
really know if that reporter just hated Ed and Lorraine and wanted to just write this for no reason. We don't know these things. So when there are debunkers or people before Jason and Stevie made a video, there is nothing that was ever said recently about the Warrens that have never been said a million times before. There was a whole documentary made on them in Netflix, so I think it's really coming down to a more personal aspect of the feud than it is really coming together to understand what is important. And it doesn't really matter in the end of the day who's right or wrong. It's more about like, let's respect the community and the history, and let's just respect each other as humans and try to come on a neutral field here because that's not happening and it's getting worse. And I don't think it's going to work out very well for them if they continue down that path. I really don't.
Yeah, especially when right now they're building that museum, the Warren Museum right now, because I did get to take a peek in the door when I was there. Um, what's your thoughts about Annabelle being there in Salem in that type of place? Because like if it is real, if it is haunted as they say it is that good or is that healthy for other people to see a doll like that?
I don't think that she's possessed. I mean, even if she was, let's just say hypothetically for all the Warrens lovers out there that she is possessed by a demon. I mean, who wrote the book on putting her in a wooden box with a
Mm,
piece of glass is supposed to contain her with all these sigils and things? Who says that wearing these magic oven mitts carrying her keeps the demon inside? Like,
then
who
use
wrote
some
all
pizza
of
or
it?
something.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
it's like, here is this dangerous demon, right? And let's just say hypothetically there is. Why would you want to take her in public and put her in harm's way of everyone else? Like, you're basically saying, I don't fucking care about you. I just want your money. And that's what it feels like. And
yeah,
it's just all of it's very silly. And I feel that I'm just saying, if they came out and just said, listen, she's for entertainment purposes, I would respect that so much more because at least we know it's like a haunted house fun attraction where you can just go spend your money at that point just to be a part of history. And
yeah,
that's cool. But when you sell the story behind it, that is just doesn't make sense,
yeah,
doesn't lead up. I mean, I have volunteered myself to go sit 10 minutes with her and even pay the price if they were willing to let me. And I would be willing to sign a waiver and everything just to finally just get it out there that she's not, you know what I
yeah.
mean? There's a lot of us that have volunteered to do this, but if there cannot be any investigation physically behind her because she's so kept tight, then
Yeah.
I think that the truth needs to come from them. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to.
One thing that I was just thinking about because like I know people have imaginations and when they when people let me give you an example. When people are not sick but all of a sudden think they're sick and they become sick, like
Yeah.
it's gonna become to a point where people go there and it's not haunted, but their visualization, your mind could play tricks on you a lot of times, and think that, oh, it's going to possess me and do this. It's haunted. I should say, maybe I should say the right words to it. And all of a sudden in their mind, like, oh, shoot, something just happened. Like a car almost ran me over, or this happened, or I just saw a fire. You know what I mean? But stuff like that, well, people will visualize in their head and they'll start believing in it, you
Mhm.
know, mentally. And that's what I think what's going to happen is because they're going to draw that into people's mind, like, oh, watch out, don't do this because she might attack you in a way that when you go home in your dreams or something like that. But that's like my thinking of it because I don't think she's haunted. I think it's just a bunch of hoopla and stuff like that.
I talk a lot about the egregore theory. Have you ever heard of that
I've
before?
heard of it.
Okay. So I talk a lot about I think the egregore theory is mostly responsible for almost, if not all, hauntings in these big, massive places. I mean, obviously, you're going to have asylums where there were mental patients in and there was a lot of torture. And I do believe energy stays in those places. I believe that there's always going to be an imprint of history that was negative in those places. So I'm not taking
Mhm.
away from history or the energy that could be there. But if you have a house like the Sally house, and you go in there and you're always consistently talking to Sally, think of how many investigators go into this house talking and looking for a specific energy. The power of people, I don't think you guys understand how powerful we are that if we go in and believe in something enough and ask for something enough, we can create a haunting out of nothing. And it's actually been scientifically proven. This has been done before. They've done experiments where I wish I knew the doctors that did the experiments, but you guys could Google it and look it up and put it in the comment section. But there were where they've had people and they created this story of like the mom, the dad, the children, everything that happened. And they set these people in an abandoned home that I think was just a dilapidated home at that point. And they
Mhm.
told them the history and story of this house. None of it was true. None of the people existed. And they started asking in the spirit boxes, in the recorders and everything, exactly what was happening, and they pareidoia started coming in where they started hearing things. All of a sudden the haunting started, like, becoming something, and then they came out and said that actually never existed. So I really do believe that a lot of these places get enough attention that it becomes like seeped into us, that when we go in a creepy basement, we automatically want to feel scared because that's what we're told and we believe it. So I think a lot of that does have to do with Annabelle. And I think a lot of these hauntings that we see are, exactly that, just the egregore theory. We've manifested something that just was never there.
Yeah.
It's just energy.
There's something actually I wanted to talk to you about, which is very interesting. Do you think, if this is possible, um, I don't know, it's funny, I came up with my own theory a little bit. Do you think it's possible when we're sleeping, in that time of sleep, that we could manifest our own spirit to cause a haunting in our own place or somewhere else, where our spirit goes not in our house, but somewhere else to go haunt somewhere else? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I mean, I believe anything's possible. Poltergeists, the theory behind poltergeists were that it starts in teenage adolescent years, that
Hmm.
teens, their hormones and their energies would cause other energies that would extend from their own physical bodies and would cause objects to fly and things like that. There's been a lot of studies around exactly what poltergeists are. So that's kind of like around the same thing. Do I believe it's possible? Yeah, I believe anything's possible if you do. And you would be in a REM state, which means that your brain's not telling yourself, stop, don't think that, you can't do that. That's not possible. Because when you're in REM, I really do believe anything's possible. Quantum jumping, like
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So I think so. And I believe that a lot of people say that, traveling through dimensions is possible, out of body experiences, like a lot of, so yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Somebody could be, you know,
Yeah.
could experience that.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty interesting if I could do that and haunt somebody. That'd be pretty funny.
Mhm. I mean, if I leave this plane to the other one, I'm definitely haunting all of you. I'm definitely haunting all of you.
I have a couple of people that I would haunt. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. That would be
Maybe
the fun part.
I'd be like a pranker. I know I'd probably mess with people and like just move their car keys or something like that, or move their car around them. Well, if you could drive when you're a spirit, that
Yeah.
that'd be pretty funny. Um.
Just watch out, friends.
Well, let me ask you this: like, what would be your most hilarious, funniest moment in the paranormal?
Oh my goodness.
Have you had like any embarrassing?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Oh, are we frozen? Am I frozen? Did we just freeze? Are we back? Did we freeze for a second?
Yeah, we froze. That was weird.
Okay. I Not for me. Electronics always act weird around me for some reason. We can blame it on me. So yes, there was an embarrassing time. Are we still good? Are we
Yeah, we're good.
there is oh, I wasn't frozen. Okay. Ooh. You froze.
Oh,
Um,
I froze.
yeah.
That's weird.
So good thing I didn't say anything weird. Yeah, I was in the Norwich State Hospital in Connecticut, and that is a massive, unfortunately, asylum. I think it consists of 9 buildings, if I was correct, and I was doing an investigation there, and it's pitch black at, like, 2 AM, right? I only have, like, my phone on me and maybe, like, a headlamp, and at first, I have to specify this. I am not afraid of bats, okay? I love bats. Bats are really
Hmm.
smart. So when people like duck and go like this, it makes me laugh because bats are not going to hit you unless they absolutely want to. They're amazing in the dark. So I just think it's funny when people scream and duck. 'Cause I'm like, they're not going to hit you. And I saw something come flying at me from here. And I like completely just like did like a flat thing on the ground, started screaming. I didn't know. It looked like it was like this big. But in the dark, my eyes were playing tricks on me. It turned out to be a bat like this big. And I was like, oh no. It turned into one of those people I make fun of with bats. But anyway, so yeah, that was probably one of the most funny, embarrassing. things that have happened to me on an investigation. Yeah,
That's
so
funny. Someone asked a question here. Where is it?
cats are
Uh,
more likely to hit you when you flail around. Absolutely. I'm just like, I just go along with my day. I don't care. They're cool. They're not gonna do anything.
do you think paranormal teams are truth or myth making?
Oh, like they make stuff up? Is that what
Mm-hmm.
you
That's what
um,
they're someone's
I
asking. Do
mean,
you think
that's
paranormal
such a
teams?
broad I mean, that's such an open question. I mean, I think it really just depends on a lot of paranormal teams and, like, what their goal is in the actual community. Are they there for entertainment purposes and being content
Mm-hmm.
creators, or are they in it for the history and research? So I think that you're gonna have a good, balance of well, a a little bit more than the other as far as balance goes. I think you're gonna have more content creators than anything. I do believe that a lot of paranormal teams do make things up. We've
Yeah.
seen it firsthand all over social media that they've used AI and things like that to generate stuff that's never happened before. A lot of things have come out about different investigators using, spider string. What do they call that invisible string? It's like spider web string, and then they use like
Mm-hmm.
car garage clickers for the EMF
Hmm.
detectors. People use the DR60. If you make just the slightest move with the DR60, it can contort and make it sound like a voice. There's lots of different things that people do. And so yeah, I do believe that you're going to get a little bit of both, but probably more on the content creator side. So yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. You got to
What's your
make that money and get those views.
yeah. Yeah, and that's the sad part because I don't know, like it comes to a point where you can only go so far. You know what I mean? Especially in the paranormal, like because you don't wanna take it to a point where you want to get rich. Well, I mean, everybody wants to get rich, right? But
Yeah.
like we're doing this for science and we're doing it because we love what we're doing. We love talking to the dead. We love hanging out with them. We don't want to disrespect them, but like it's getting to the point where people are using the dead for money.
Mhm.
And it's very sad to say that. And I hate saying that because it's such a bad word. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Congrats, Kat. Kat just got her official gig as a haunt actor. And for
oh
the
yeah.
congrats, Kat. Yay.
Congrats. That's awesome.
That's exciting.
Um, but yeah, it's really sad when people are just making money because they see Zach Bagans do it and they're like, oh, if he could do it, we can do it. And I
Yeah.
think that's what started the whole thing because I know like with Jason, like he's been doing the paranormal since the beginning of time.
Mhm.
And knowing Jason, his heart, you could see between Zach and Jason whose heart is actually in the paranormal and
Yeah.
who's not. That's why I love where Jason's at and what he's doing with the Conjuring House
I
because
think that even sorry to cut you off. I
oh
think that
no,
even people like Zach Baggins, and I know people are gonna be like, "Did Luna really say that?" I've never seen one episode of Ghost Adventures ever because I already
oh
kinda knew
wow,
this. I've never seen one before, but I think even people like Zach Baggins and all those people that are in it for the wrong reasons now, I don't believe that they got in it for the right reasons. I think all of us start in it for the right reasons, and then we get a taste of something, and then it changes who you are, right? I don't think Zach got into it saying like, "Oh my god, I'm rich and famous." That never happened. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
think that it's like when people get that taste. So that's why you see a lot of paranormal teams that are just like, I'm trying to get on YouTube and then I'm trying to get on Netflix and then I'm trying to get on this show. And it's like they
yep,
just keep trying to climb that ladder. And I think that's what happened. I think that, a lot of these people like them started out like us and then they just took the wrong turn because money. And then I also have a question too, like, is it a bad thing to say you're for entertainment purposes? Like what does that hurt
hmm,
you? Because people are still going to watch you,
yeah,
right? Do you think that would hurt if somebody said that? I wonder if anybody in the chat could answer that because I'm just like, do you think that
um,
would hurt them to say it? Because like you still have a fan base, but at least you're honest. Or
yeah,
maybe their managers or their people tell them don't say that stuff. Like,
hmm,
no, who knows?
that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just know that like I just love hunting ghosts, and
Yeah,
just
no, it's so cool. Yeah.
it's the best feeling, especially being out there and you don't have to deal with jerks and assholes and you know, you're just dealing with people who want to just talk and chill and hang out, and that's what they want because they've been alone for how many eons, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree, I agree. I think when we have experiences, our own personal experiences, it's a very beautiful thing to share with people. It's another level to then shove it down people's throats as
Yeah.
this is how it's supposed to be. So I wish we could get more back to just sharing our experiences and just being like, hey, I used an SB7. You come up with what it is that you think you heard. Don't let this be like, oh my God, a demon actually said my name. Why are we saying that? Why are
Yeah.
you putting that as truth? I think that we could try to just get back to just hanging out with the dead, just see what they have to say. I know when I turn on a spirit box in my house, they're cussing all the time. Why? I don't know. And I know you can't cuss on the radio. So I'm just kind of putting 2 and 2 cents. Let's go hang out a little bit too much.
They're
So,
prodding, and that's what they're doing.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, speaking about like SP7s and stuff like that, what's your thoughts about spirit apps on phones? Like, do you use them, or what's your thoughts about them?
I use Ghost Tube Fox from time to time. Like if I go into like a restaurant or something that I know is haunted, I'll just kind of turn it on and set it down just to see if anything comes through that's like, makes sense or something that I might hear. I it's a frequency. Just like everything else is a
Mhm.
frequency. I did an episode that I did not come out with where I actually created my own app from the ground up to see what it took. And all I have to say is that you can actually time it to if you hear somebody go, oh my God, like scream or at a certain octave, it will trigger certain words or it will start picking up more and it'll pick up the wind. It will also do off of the temperature. You can make it do flashy lights for no reason. You can do almost anything and have it trigger at any time. Also, when you turn off your GPS, it doesn't work. So if most of these apps that still works in the background, like if you're driving up to these locations and stuff, so you can make these apps pretty much do whatever you want, which is kind of scary because when I was trying to build mine, I was like, whoa, I could literally do anything I want to this app. Like if I say like, wow, it's such a cold night tonight, I can have it trigger Luna.
Yeah.
I can have it say whatever in the word bank. So for me, do I think that they're like, no, but I do think that they are fun. And I think as long
Mhm.
as we take it with a grain of salt and just keep it as, our experience and not try to turn it into something it's not, I think they're fun.
Yeah.
I think they're handy than walking around with an SB7 that the speakerphone sucks on it most of the time, but it's all frequency. So I believe frequency, some way, shape, or form, sure, yeah, they can work, but unless you know exactly how they were programmed, it's kind of hard to say which
Yeah.
apps are doing what and what's being triggered by what. So any investigators in here, start screaming next time out of nowhere on your investigation and see if any of these apps start picking up a little bit more for you. It'd be
Hmm.
interesting. You know?
Yeah, I gotta start. I gotta do that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Start
Oh yeah.
start testing it and see what happens. Mhm.
Yeah, I gotta do that now. Huh. I might do that. My house is haunted, so I gotta test it out, see if I could get something going on there. That'd be pretty cool.
Mine is too.
Yeah.
They
And
won't
obvi-
do this though.
the funny part is, it always happens when I'm trying to sleep, like doors open, shut, and like right there, my doorknob, because this is a 1930s home, and it's very creaky, and you can hear everything, and the doorknobs are hard to turn sometimes, and you'll hear yeah, by
Mhm.
itself and opening right in the middle of the night, and it'll wake me up in my dead of sleep. And I'm like, really?
Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
I don't know. I really don't.
Hmm. Be
That'd be
interesting to see. Maybe do
yeah,
some history on your property and, maybe do an investigation, then do the history on the property and see if those 2 line up anywhere with each other. That'd be kinda
yeah.
cool. Because
I
that's
do
an
want to
old
do.
house.
Hmm. Well, apparently, a lot of these homes here, just in this town, we use for TV homes. So a lot of people died out of them.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of history that I heard from people in the neighborhood that there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened in this neighborhood. So it's gonna be pretty interesting doing an investigation because I'd love to see what happens.
Yeah, but you could also stir some things up too, but
Uh,
whatever. It's already happening, so
I'm used to it. I'm like, bring it on.
yeah. I don't believe
No.
anyone that says orbs or ghosts. I don't know. I
Well,
feel
yeah.
like most of the time you're catching dust, most of the time.
Well, I'll see some like people like send pictures or I'll see pictures on TikTok where it'll be on a ring camera and you'll see an orb fly by, and I'm like, yeah, that's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell it's like either a bug or something that's probably dust or a spider web because of the light reflection off of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I believe I've seen orbs in older pictures before from like
Hmm.
Polaroids and stuff where I'm like, dude, what's that? But I don't know. It's
Well,
hard to say.
well, some orbs, like if you look really close, especially the old ones, you'll see faces in them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen those before. Yeah, but then some people also have a theory too that it was a picture before and it still was burned on the screen, and then the other picture went on top of it. There's been a lot of theories about that before, but I just think it's kinda creepy and cool.
Yeah. You know what's really creepy? And it made me think about this because I've heard of people experience this when they're sleeping. Is it sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Where they feel like they're being choked on their
Mm.
chest and they can't talk, and then they see this weird shadow in a corner. What's your
Yep,
thoughts
yep.
about that? Is it real or is it something that people are imagining?
Oh, I've had sleep paralysis twice, and the same thing happened to me 2 times. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna say yes on that one. I've never had it again, but I've had it twice, and this was before I
Wow.
got into the paranormal. So my mind wasn't like, you know, eh,
Yeah.
immersed in all this stuff. So yeah, I do believe that it is real. Mhm.
Now, do you believe it's something evil or demonic or something that's like in a totally different realm?
No, I don't believe it's evil and demonic at all. I don't think so. I don't know what it is. I really don't. There are so many different chemicals that go through our brain, like what's the chemical that we excrete during birth and death? I forgot what it's called.
Mm,
But there's one specific that we only excrete during birth and death, and that's like hallucinogen of itself. So, I mean, it could be a cause of so many different things because, when you're dreaming up all this stuff that's not really there. So it's like, is it just your brain forgot to wake up, but your body's awake? So now you're seeing all this stuff that isn't there, and you've got psychosis happening. It's just like, who knows? It could be a mix of a lot of things. You
yeah. Yeah, I always thought it was weird because like I always hear people saying it's always the same thing. It's a dark figure and just something that's just sitting there trying to like sit on your chest and just press, and you can't even talk
No,
during it. It's
no.
so weird. It feels like something that's like not good.
Right. No, it does it's really creepy because 'cause you're awake, but you can't move, you can't talk, you can't scream, you
Hmm.
can't it's so scary. It's so scary. Florio said that she was experiencing it last night with her sleep meds. Ugh.
Yeah, she says she gets it regularly. Like, how scary is that? What are your experiences, Flurry? Because we want to know. I never.
Nothing dies
Yeah.
during it. I wouldn't
Wow.
either. Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be so
that's
scary.
creepy. That's
Mhm.
creepy. Speaking about demons, now that we're in the subject of demons and demonic things, me and Kat were kind of like talking about how people always give demons a bad name. It's bad, it's evil. But like we were talking about, demons were actually angels, in the Bible, fallen angels. And my theory about that is like, what if demons are not as what we think they are or what people deprive them to be? That they're actually guardian angels.
Um, I mean, this is such a religious thing. I mean, there's other different types of religions that believe in
Mhm.
demons, it's not just Christianity or the
Yeah.
suburbs of Christianity. I believe that there is lower level energy because there are lower
Mhm.
level people. You know, you've got very nasty, nasty people in life that are just hateful for no reason. I know that we've met these people before. So what's not to say that there isn't lower level energy that wants to try to hurt you? Do I believe it's demons? No, I don't believe all demons are bad. And I don't believe all demons are good. Just like I don't believe every person's good and every person's bad. I mean, look at what God did. Murder, mass murder.
You
The
talked
Bible
about
the Bible's not necessarily a positive story per se all the way through, you know. So, you know, here's this man that's all knowing that knows before he was going to somehow get a younger woman pregnant and then have her and then this and then he ended up dying and like he was all knowing. So why would he allow any of that to happen if he, you know, there's just like so many levels to like all of this where it's like, was he the evil one? And was it just Lucifer that said, I'm not doing that. I'm not cool with that. I'm leaving. And then all of a sudden people are like, wow, you're going against the Holy One. Now you're evil. And all of your angels now followed you because they don't agree with it. So now they're demons. I mean, that's very possible. And I believe that to be more true than, you know, I mean, for you, because, you know, I've read the Bible, you know, growing up, it was basically studied in my family. And so for me, I don't think demons are what we think they are. I don't think it's the stuff that possesses people and you get exorcisms for. I don't believe in any of that. I really don't. I'm not somebody who believes in heaven or hell, you know, so therefore I don't believe in demons. I just believe in negative energies. I just believe in energy itself, you know.
Yeah.
It kind of goes with the theory, you know, you have two plants, you talk crap to one and you talk good to the other. This one dies and this one doesn't. It just proves that the energy, you know, so
yeah. It's a very interesting because with the plants thing too, because they talk about how trees are the same way, you know, how they live forever and how people just take care of nature and go into nature and just breathe it in and speak good to it and like how it'll just last and you could feel the energy with the trees and the wind and the animals around. It's a pretty beautiful feeling.
The trees know all of our secrets. The trees will still be here even after we're gone. They were here before our families, uncles, aunts, ancestors twice removed have been here. Trees know all of the secrets. So for me, I'm going to trust the energy of a tree before I trust anything else because it's been here since the beginning of time, you know? And so for me, I feel that nature holds that energy of truth and negativity and positivity. And I know that makes me sound very woo-woo, but you know, I feel that that's more plausible to me than some demon. And also Florio saying pagan religions, most demons are from those deities. And paganism is so much older than Christianity. You know, it's so much older and a lot of stuff was ripped off from paganism. So, you know, for me, I'm going to stick with the paganism stuff. You know, I want to kind of go more with that tradition and my beliefs. But, you know, I believe if you believe in demons, then they're just as real for you as they would be for somebody who doesn't. They don't believe in it, so it doesn't exist. I love trees.
We are all a little woo-woo. We're all a little weird.
If you see me hugging a tree, no, you didn't. Just keep going. It's fine. I just need to take my energy.
That's too funny. But I know we have a few minutes left. Tell us a little bit what you got going on and what you'll be doing here in this next year.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that I'm not allowed to talk about. My hopes for the future in the paranormal are big. So I want to create something which I'm hoping that is going to come to fruition. I can't really talk about it, but that will bring a lot of us together in a way that we've never been before. As far as what's happening right now, I don't really have a lot going on right now at this moment in time with the paranormal. I have chosen to take a step back just because of I think there's so much confusion in this community as to where it's going to go, where this community is going. And I want to be here ready to go to fight when we're ready to. And I think once that line is defined as to what exactly this community is, I'll possibly come back. But for right now, I want to think of myself as I don't know, a helper, somebody that somebody could come to for questions or guidance right now. So I'm just laying low. I'm selling my tarot decks. I'm doing tarot readings over on TikTok. If you guys want to come say hi and support me that way. But as far as the paranormal, I'm just laying low and, standing up to the bullies in the community for right now, and then working on some big projects for down the road that you guys will see. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. So
yeah, I'm excited. Like you, Miss Paranormal, Cat, just so many, and Stevie, so many amazing people that I've been watching standing up for this community. I'm really Miss Paranormal just came in. There she is.
I definitely want to say too, please, I know that I'm a female in the paranormal, but I think we also need to really go follow all of these wonderful females, Stevie,
Yeah.
especially Truth and Demons podcast, Florio. She has amazing content. She
Mhm.
deep dives into everything. So does Stevie. We have Miss Paranormal Cat in here. Just please go follow all of your local ladies over at the paranormal community, because we really are trying to do what is right, at least what we think is right. And so it's really important that we get all of the support we possibly can right now. That really helps us. The more we get out there, our voices get out there, I think the more that the paranormal could use a little bit of feminine energy and some love and some nurturing. I really do think we need that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm also having a plan to do a roundtable with all you guys. Hopefully in November.
Ladies Fright too. I think Ladies Fright is in here. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Hi, ladies. Joan too. All of that. I didn't know. Isn't there any other ladies in here I didn't say hi to? Hi, Sarah from Keeping Up with Spirits. She's in here too. So many amazing ladies in the field.
So many amazing people. I'm so excited. And you guys are all invited on my show. Like literally, like I will message you guys because we gotta bring this up because there's so much crazy stuff going on in the paranormal and how they're attacking and stuff, and we gotta fight back and take over what is ours. You know what I mean? And fight for what we believe in.
We will.
That's awesome.
I know we will. And good always wins. And my hopes for everybody, it doesn't matter what side you're on, that everyone finds peace and that we can find some sort of level ground to help each other and come together and learn from each other and not fight so much. I think that would be the best way to like really help this community, is just listen to each other, just listen and don't take everything so personal. Just listen.
That's so good. Man, thank you so much for being before we go, where can people find your website? Oh, that's cool.
I do magic tricks.
Where can people find your website and buy some tarot cards and all your amazing stuff?
Awesome. So if you guys go to Magic by Luna on Instagram or TikTok, you can find my direct link in both of my bios, and it'll take you to my Etsy shop, my private readings, my schedule for lives. Just come say hi, guys. I don't expect you guys to buy anything, but just come say hi, come support, come tap the screen. But yeah, Magic by Luna on everything. And then if you guys want to follow me on Facebook, it's Luna. You guys will see me. Just hit me up, Luna. You guys will see me. So
that's awesome. Well, we're gonna after we go off the air, we'll talk for a couple minutes. I always talk a couple minutes with our guests after the show. But thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Luna. This was such an amazing show. Thank you, everybody, for watching and all your questions and just the love and support you've been giving to this community. Because just keep fighting and keep it up and just be you. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. But all I gotta say is love life, be you, and have fun.
Yep. And if you haven't been told that you're special, loved, and important, you are. Please go take your medication, drink your water, and eat something today.
Yep. And also, don't eat Taco Bell.
Don't eat Taco Bell or lettuce right now.
Don't eat the lettuce and Taco Bell. No. You don't want that bad juju. That if you want to know a demon, there you go, right there. But thank you so much, everybody. I will see you in the background here in a second. And everybody have a wonderful week, people. And remember, have a great day and stay out of trouble, people. Have fun. Peace.
lights on.